flatlined. Kamaru Usman himself, flat on the ground. What's going on, guys? So over the last couple of days, I've been uploading stuff about my interests and things that I like doing, like hobbies, if you will. And it seems to be getting some traction. And this might be talking about Andrew Tate or stuff like that. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the MMA fights that took place last night. And this was a huge night. Actually, I'm going to look something up real quick. This was UFC event number 278. UFC 278. So there's been 278 main title fight events for UFC. Dana White is now the owner of UFC. He's a huge influencer online. Everybody knows of him, even people who are not involved in the fighting game. And I'm sure you guys know who it is. And I'm preaching to the choir here. But there was some big stuff that happened last night. There was one huge upset that we're going to react to. And there was also two great fights. So, well, there was a lot of great fights. But we're only going to be focusing on the main three fights. As you can see right here. Usman, Costa, and Jose Aldo. So without any further spoilers, I'm going to go through the Jose Aldo fight first. It was Jose Aldo versus Merab. I'm not even going to pretend to know how to pronounce that. Dibishali. And this was the third to last fight of the evening. This was a big deal because Jose Aldo, I believe, hasn't fought ever since he fought Conor McGregor, I'm pretty sure, which was one of his worst fights ever, and the fight that propelled Conor into the stardom that he saw after, the wealth and the experience. So, let's just jump straight into it with the highlights. So right off the bat, it does seem like Dibishali is dominating the fight. He's basically bagging Jose Aldo up. And when you're backing a fighter up into the corner of the cage, that means that you were dominating the fight. So we saw the first good move out of Aldo right there. He punched him and the guy fell. So let's see what happens. I actually haven't watched this highlight reel as of yet. So that's basically the end of the fight. As our first fight here, this was a pretty even-keeled performance. As in, there was no crazy domination. I would say that Kashivali did beat out Aldo just slightly, but that was honestly to be expected because Aldo is an old fighter. He's been in the sport for many years at this point. The thing is, though, that the crowd definitely booed for Kamaru because everyone loves Jose Aldo. He is a fan favorite, even though it is in Salt Lake City, Utah, which has no affiliation with Brazil, where Aldo is from. I'm sure that he's still got a lot of cheers because people really like Jose Aldo. He's definitely one of the oldest fighters in the sport right now. So, let's jump into the next fight. There is a lot of backstory for this fight. Basically, it's a similar situation to the last fight where one guy is significantly older than the other guy. Luke Rockhold has been in the sport for, I'd say, definitely more than 30 years at this point. But he is a certified playboy. He was talking a lot of crap going into the fight. He claims that he did shrooms, which unlocked his mind, which is a topic for another video entirely. But the guy is definitely a great fighter. It's just that Paulo Costa really has only had one bad performance in his whole UFC career, which was against Israel Adesanya, who is one of the world champions. He's only lost once to a guy that was not even in his weight class. So, Paulo Costa claims he was drunk that time, hungover from the night before, which is very hard to believe. But listen, the guy is quite the bullshit artist. I actually saw his debut fight where his name was Borachina, and he fought in Madison Square Garden back in November of 2016, I want to say. That was a very long time ago, but that was the only event that I've ever been to for UFC. He fought against Johnny Hendricks, who is a very old fighter. Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Hendrix, one of those. And yeah, so let's see if Luke Rockhold can crap talking, and let's see if Paulo Costa really did have a fluke in the Israel fight. So right away you can tell the pace of this fight is very, very fast. Paulo Costa is basically jumping at Rockhold, jumping out of his skin and just sinking into the former champion. So far Costa is in the lead. I would say Costa won the first round if we're going by rounds. Oh, and another thing to know is that with MMA, UFC, mixed martial arts, all that, there's 5 rounds in every title fight. So since this is not a title fight, it's only 3 rounds. So it'll be a quick fight. Costa is still dominating. His shots are just hitting differently than Rockhold, so I do think that Rockhold might have the stamina to beat him in some of the later rounds, though. You can see a little bit of the Rockhold ground game right there. Very strange tactic here from Rockhold. He's always been a bit of a weirdo. I don't know why he's rubbing his blood on Costa's face. It's a little bit strange, but hey, maybe it'll blind him. That was actually a very hard shot right there by Rockhold. His best shot yet. Honestly, there was no clear winner in that fight. I don't even know what to think. I really don't like fights like that just because they were too close to each other. I like more of a striking stand-up game. This was more of a ground situation, so a lot of people probably didn't love the fight. I wasn't the biggest fan just because I don't really have any affinity towards Rockhold or Costa, but I think Costa did win the fight and the decision was fair. Alright, now we have the most important fight of the evening for sure. Leon Edwards fought Kamaru Usman in the past. Kamaru Usman has been reigning supreme for years and years. There's never even been a time when he's been on the ropes. He destroyed Jorge Masvidal. He evenly beat Kobe Covington twice. And he's overall just a welterweight champion, undisputed. He's a Nigerian king. But Leon Edwards is actually another guy who's been flying under the radar for a while. He had his first big boost in popularity when Jorge Masvidal gave him a 3-piece and a soda behind the stage at one of the former UFC events. So you can see a lot of intensity going in. I forgot to mention these guys fought in the past. I believe Usman won, but that was a long time ago, back in 2015. So not indicative whatsoever. Usman honestly looks a little bit tired. I'm not even just saying that because I know the outcome of the fight. He does look drained for whatever reason. Okay, so Leon is playing it very, very smart. He's not getting way too aggressive. He's simply hitting him with those leg kicks. Those leg kicks can disable your leg very easily. They hurt so badly. It looks like they don't hurt, but they really hurt. Like, we've seen countless times people break their leg by doing stuff like that. Kicking and being kicked. Wow. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Edwards almost had Usman in a choke in the very first round, which is very surprising. You have to understand, Kamaru Usman is the most decorated fighter in the sport. People are saying he's literally number one. He's the best fighter of all time, comparing him with the likes of Khabib. So, the fact that Leon Edwards is able to get him in a chokehold in the first round proves how good Leon really is. Now we can see the domination that Kamaru always brings to the fight. He's just beating the crap out of Leon. Usman is just railing into the man. It's already the end of the fourth round, and by this trajectory, Usman would definitely win the fight. Flatlined. Kamaru Usman himself, flat on the ground. We've never even seen him on his back, I don't believe, before this fight. Now we see him flat on the ground. He did fight a very good fight though, but he was ultimately kicked in the head. Boom! That's crazy, man. I posted that on my Instagram. I said that was probably the biggest upset of the year for sure. Maybe of all time. Who knows?
I thought that Usman fought the perfect fight, and it was crazy because I was listening to the commentary, and Rogan and Anik and DC were dead on with everything that they were saying on what Edwards needed to do and what he should be doing, and as soon as they were saying it, literally lands the head kick, and yeah.
It's kind of hard to contextualize like the entire history of the UFC in one moment, but is that one of the most shocking finishes to a title fight that you ever remember?
Yeah, I mean, you think of everything that was on the line for Usman tonight, and and Usman fought with absolute and total confidence all night. Fought the perfect fight. It might not be the most fan-friendly, style, but he was landing big shots to the body, big shots to the head, elbows. Couldn't have fought a more perfect fight till the last minute. It's what makes this sport the greatest sport in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Dana here. That was a crazy finish to the fight, considering that Usman was definitely winning the fight the entire time. As he mentioned, that's just the nature of MMA, and that's what keeps the fans watching. That constant volatility in knowing that one kick can flip the entire script. No one's even going to remember Usman's performance last night, which is super unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Leon landed the finishing blow, and yes, it probably was luck to some big extent, I would say, because Usman was clearly dominating, but he was able to pull it off, so congrats to Leon Edwards. I'm sure he's in heaven right now. He's probably the happiest he's ever been his whole life. Seeing his hard work and dedication really shine through. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to end it off here before we go on for too long. But as you guys can tell, I can talk about UFC for hours. So if you guys want more like this, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all later.